Welcome to the 2013 Hutt City Crazyman. This is Wellington's premier multi-sport race. But to face the epic 56k of kayaking, mountain biking and trail running, you head out to the region's outdoor playground, the Hutt Valley.
1991, Crazyman's been around since. Started by sort of a group of keen local multi-sporters, and over time the event's sort of passed on to other fools such as me, and I'm just the latest fool really organising this stuff. It's had a few different incarnations over the years. Last year we had to change it just because of a few landowner issues and things like that, and we've come up with a really good course actually that's entirely within regional council land, and they're huge supporters of the event. They do a lot of track maintenance for us and keep places spick and span, as it were. It is a renowned event, but I think it's one of those events people like it because it is challenging at the time and it does go somewhere. It's a bit of a journey, but it's not a life-changing event in terms of having to say goodbye to your family for 4 months to train for it, you know. So it's a good fun event, and we try to cater for everyone from, you know, the elite to new people getting into the sport, because, you know, things like the Coast to Coast are a pinnacle for the sport and deserve that reputation. But, you know, you need events like this to actually get people into the sport and sort of send them on the way to something like a Coast to Coast. Otherwise, they'll never get there.
Stunning morning, awesome course, so it should be good.
Did it years ago as an individual, but I've got a little bit fatter since then, so it's just about having a bit of fun today.
Possibly the worst way to start a kayak race is to snap your boat as you're getting in it.
Not the best start. Hopefully it's not an omen for the rest of the race.
The teams event is always an interesting field, as you invariably find both elite single discipline athletes and keen first-timers lining up together.
I've got a few people from work, from SAS, who've entered multiple teams just for a bit of fun, and nobody else is willing to jump in a kayak, so Shane encouraged me to participate. We've got special dispensation because we're going to be so slow.
Be right.
Yeah, we've normally here, so yeah, over the years we've been involved in one way or another. I think it was 1998, my first one here, and yeah, we've had a team in the last 3 or 4 years.
The individual event attracts competitors from across the country. Favourite for the women's race in 2013 is Jess Simpson, all the way from Wanaka.
I'm from Wellington originally, so it's a good opportunity to come up and hang out with my family and do this Crazyman. I've heard about it before. Never knew what it really entailed, and so now I guess I'm going to go find out. Yeah, it'll be good. I think it's going to be some nice views for sure. You know, can't beat Wellington with the harbour views on a good day, yeah.
The men's race favourite is Luke Osborne from the Hawke's Bay, making his first appearance at the Hutt City Crazyman and expecting good things.
Probably the mountain bike and run, those are my kind of strengths, I guess, and I mean the kayak will be good too, you know. I've never paddled on the harbour, but yeah, just like I say, a whole new course. It's good kind of terrain around here. I like all the bush and stuff, so yeah, pretty much the whole lot. Yeah.
Also expecting to go well are number 15, Hutt Valley local Jamie Saunders, and fellow local boy Tim Sutton, returning for his second crack at the event.
Me and my old man got into multi-sport probably about 3 years ago, and did the Coast to Coast for the first time. We both trained for it together, and he was actually the oldest competitor in the longest day, oldest finisher in the longest day. Yeah, we do a lot of training together, which is pretty cool. And I think he's the oldest competitor today.
Yes, at 62, Tim's dad Peter Sutton is the eldest participant in the individual multi-sport race. And it's a stunning morning here in Eastbourne for the start of the 23rd Hutt City Crazyman. More than 300 people from all ends of the country about to kick things off with a unique Le Mans-style start and a 13k kayak across Wellington Harbour. Everything in multi-sport is tactical, and this Le Mans-style start is no exception. There's a distinct advantage to sitting in behind another paddler, so getting out front without a bunch of other boats close behind is the aim. Team paddler Dougie Wilkins is onto the water first. His choice of paddling a surf ski enabling him to get underway a few seconds ahead of the pack. You can see it's perfect paddling conditions on the harbour today. This opening stage is a 13-kilometre paddle which takes in the eastern bays of Wellington Harbour. Kayakers make their way to the Petone foreshore before turning and heading for the mouth of the Hutt River and the final kilometre to TA1. Dougie Wilkins is really pushing the opening few kilometres along the Eastern Harbour coastline. Behind him is the paddler from the rival team Capital Sportsmed, Glenn Muirhead. The pair have opened up a solid lead on the other teams as they come into Lowry Bay. In a city renowned for being windy, the conditions today are simply perfect.
Yeah, the weather can impact hugely on kayak, particularly harbour kayaks. I mean, as well as people's skills, there's also a safety factor. We have sort of a few standards with wind and swell that we would change it to an alternative course, but we've only ever had to do that a couple of times in the last sort of 10 years. Not much windage out there today, so there's no sort of advantage for a stronger paddler or versus a slighter paddler,
Up front of the individual men's race, it's Wellington racer Tim Sutton leading the charge. Tim is pretty new to multisport. Last year's Crazyman was one of his first ever races and he was a solid 6th place. Now he's vying for the win. And this is the man he's vying with, race favourite Luke Osborne. Another relative newcomer, but with a number of regional victories around the Hawke's Bay and a recent win in the Pororua Grand Traverse, the 28-year-old is fast becoming one to watch. As expected, Jess Simpson is the woman out front, leading out both the individuals and teams. Jess is also a recent multisport convert. Her first race was the Lake Waikari Moana multisport race last November, and she won it. In her second race, she broke the coast-to-coast 2-day record, and now she's chasing Jill Westenra's race record here at the Hutt City Crazyman. The course turns west here and heads along the foreshore to the famous Petone Wharf with a great view of Wellington's Harbour Hills. Thanks to duct tape and a quick patch-up job, Team 226 paddler Andrew Martin is putting in a solid effort and going well. And a great shot here of 18-year-old Rachel Baker, the youngest female ever to take on the Crazyman as an individual.
Oh, well, there's only five women. I know 2 of them, who are Mary and Fiona. Both a bit older than me, Mary by a lot, but both pretty quick. And then I'm not sure who one of the other women is, but there's also Jess Simpson, who I'm pretty stoked to be racing because she's been doing pretty well in multisport recently and was in like Team Harraways for God's Own, and so I was pretty excited to be racing her. But I don't know, a bit nervous. The competition's pretty tough, and I'm still pretty new to this.
Welcome back to a magic day in the capital for the 2013 Hutt City Crazyman. This is the middle of the field heading toward Petone Wharf with Mateo Soames Island and Wellington City itself making for a great backdrop. At the front of the race, Glenn Muirhead has overhauled Dougie Wilkins and taken the lead. Glenn is world ranked among Masters kayakers, but he's here today for a bit of fun with workmates Helen McKendry and Chris Cheesemore from Capital Sports Medicine, where he's one of the region's leading physiotherapists.
Yeah, having Glenn probably come out in the first couple is going to put a little bit of pressure on. And with our team changing from 2 teams last night to 1 team this morning, I've gone from the B team to the A team. So, yeah, he's given me all sorts of grief about how quickly I need to do this transition. And I'm going, yeah, for what? Don't you realise I've packed my sandwiches?
We're in Sladden Park on the Hutt River now, where participants swap boats for mountain bikes and where the duathlon option also starts.
Yeah, just looking forward to having a bit of fun and making it to the end so my mate here can run.
The mountain bike last year was the climbing's really steep, so it should definitely put you in the hurt box, and the run, by the sounds of it, is a very challenging off-road run, so it should be a good day for everyone.
Done it probably about 4 or 5 years ago, just done it more as a duathlon by myself, but this year we decided we've got about 12 people from the office to come and do it, so some are doing it for the first time and others are sort of getting back into the sport again, so yeah, just a bit of fun really.
In comes Glenn Muirhead, almost casually cruising in at the head of the field.
This is our paddler here, Dougie Wilkins. He's currently in number 2 spot. Dougie had the lead for about the first half, and Glenn has put the hammer down. Bit of experience over youth. Fairly confident the rest of our team has got the edge over them, so Glenn's gone hard on the kayak, but that'll be all he takes home today.
Confident words there from Nick Waring of defending champions Team Bennett's. And this is Tim Sutton still at the front of the individual race after a solid paddle, now with an advantage of 1 minute and 8 seconds over Luke Osborne, who was ruining some early trouble with his race start.
Oh, I couldn't get in the boat.
Some problems. I think we started about last.
Just the old hands.
Good learning experience.
Amateur.
Yeah.
Okay, cheers guys.
Yeah.
Less than 5 minutes behind these top guys after 13k of kayaking is Jess Simpson, first individual onto the bike in the women's race.
Go, Jess.
To the left, to the right.
And 2 minutes and 15 seconds behind Simpson comes young Rachel Baker, looking comfortable as she leaves more than a few fit men in her wake. So into the 30k mountain bike section now, which kicks off with a fast and gentle 10k up the Hutt River Trail. The duathlon field leading out the race, their day finally getting underway just ahead of the multi-sporters transition. At the end of the river trail, we leave fast and gentle behind as mountain bikers head through this huge culvert under the Hutt motorway and make their way into Dry Creek Regional Park. And this is Wellingtonians Tony Keith and Alex Ravel leading the duathlon through. Alex is the defending champion, but he's got a bit of a grudge match this year with his brother-in-law, Dougal Thorburn, tipped to take the title from him.
Awesome!
Once the course enters Dry Creek Regional Park, the athletes begin a 400-metre high climb up Boulder Hill, which takes the race into Belmont Regional Park. This is a hell of a climb. On the steepest pinches, some people can run faster than they can ride. As the top of Boulder Hill approaches, Tim Sutton has been overhauled by Luke Osborne and is now in second place.
This hill never gets easier. Slipperier than last week. There it goes. I'm trying to save some legs for the run. Cramped big time last year, so just want to nail the run. But we'll see.
In third place, Lower Hutt's Jamie Saunders is the surprise package so far.
Oh, you're getting a lot of heavy breathing down that, Mike. Bloody hell. Oh, thank God.
Righto, here we go. I think that's the biggest hill. I know there's more, but I think that's the longest.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But we'll find out. Oh, shit.
Good luck, Jess.
Thank you, have a good one.
Welcome back to the 2013 Hutt City Crazyman, Wellington's premier multi-sport event. Participants are at the high point of the course here on the 400-metre high Boulder Hill in Belmont Regional Park, and the hard work up is just about to be forgotten thanks to a big thrills downhill. This is approaching the halfway point of the 30-kilometre mountain bike section. After the descent from Boulder Hill, the riders enter the second section of the course and the next big climb up Hill Road. In the individual men's race, leader Luke Osborne is showing his strength on the bike. Taking the lead on the Boulder Hill climb, he's almost 6 minutes ahead of Tim Sutton in second as they complete the descent off the other side. From here, the action heads uphill again as the riders climb Hill Road into Belmont Regional Park. This is the Crazyman's biggest strength, showcasing the wild and open country which exists right on the edge of the capital city. At the end of the 30-kilometre stage, the second transition awaits. The duathletes are in first, led home by last year's winner, Alex Ravel. It's here that the race now shifts to a 13-kilometre trail run over the edge of the Belmont Trig and down through the Korokoro Dam to the finish line on the Petone foreshore. After entering the 30-kilometre mountain bike stage, trailing by over a minute, Luke Osborne enters TA2 with a huge 20-minute lead over second place. Of course, he doesn't realise it yet, and he's still not happy.
Oh man, I had a shocker. Chain came off.
Oh, did it?
Guide yet. Rightio, where do I go?
Go straight down, just follow that guy.
Good work, Luke. All the best, mate.
Watch out for cyclists when you're going down. Yeah, Megan, number one.
Keep going.
Jess Simpson coming through now and sounding a bit happier than Luke.
Yeah, it's actually super scenic.
Nice, Jess.
Nice hills. Downhill's not too tricky, so it's good. I'll just shut that in my back. Which way? This one? Thank you. See ya. Oh, other way.
The 13-kilometre run leg is the final stage, taking the athletes further into the hills and bush of the Hutt Valley's Belmont Regional Park. Back with Luke Osborne now as he heads down into the spectacular Korokoro stream area. With 15 minutes up his sleeve, Luke can afford to relax a bit and enjoy the win. But you still need to stay focused and eat and drink enough, because even a huge lead like this can be lost if the fuel tank runs dry. Tim Sutton making harder work of it here. But you can see this really is a spectacular run if the body and mind will let you take it in.
Starting to wonder how much is left.
Jess Simpson really is a multi-sport star in the making. Always a smile and a comment for the camera.
Awesome.
As the runners descend into Korokoro Dam, they're past the halfway point and most of the climbing is behind them.
The chief thing really with the Crazyman is that it's always been a Hutt Valley event, and so we've sort of always tried to show off the icon areas of the Hutt Valley. And one of the cool things about this new course is that quite a big part of the mountain bike and run, they're sort of almost hidden. You know, they're quite a sort of remote, and they're places that only the sort of keenest mountain bikers ride a lot. And so, you know, people racing today, they'll see areas they've never been in before, you know, and sort of secret little tracks that we've established just to sort of make it a wee bit more interesting and stuff like that. You know, just cutting little tracks here and there to really just to add some interest and a few extra river crossings and things like that. And pops out eventually just on Petone foreshore, and they finish at Petone Wharf. So it's a good circuit of the Hutt Valley. You know, it's Hutt City Crazyman, and we're just trying to show off the icon elements of Hutt Valley.
Last uphill.
That's Dave Delabarca, an old hand of the Crazyman who's been around since the early days, 20 odd years ago. And it's support like that that has kept this event going. So it's a good sign for the future that a newcomer comes home for the win. Luke Osborne, living up to his #1 ranking in the final few hundred metres along Petone foreshore for his first win in the Hutt City Crazyman.
Been a runner for off and on for years, and then crossed from racing motorbikes to getting into a bit of multi-sport. So just working on my paddling, still pretty fresh at that, but it's just time, and got a good wife that is pretty understanding and lets me train. And I'm going over to Aussie in a month and a half to base there for 4 or 5 months just to race some of their races, just to get a bit more experience, and then come back and race the coast. So
Tim Sutton finishes second, some way back, but improving markedly upon his 6th place last year.
Couldn't have been better. Like earlier on this week, they were sort of predicting pouring rain and cold southerlies. So can't really complain, eh? It's all about the fun, really, at the end of the day.
And all on her lonesome out in front is Jess Simpson, on her way to a new Crazyman women's record of 4 hours, 41 minutes, 1 second. Actually the 4th fastest time of the day overall.
I've done a couple of the multi-sport races now, and this one is definitely one of the challenging ones. Like the mountain bike, quite a lot of good hills, and I hopped off a couple times just to have a bit of a break. And yeah, the run up and down, and good some slippery terrain, so quite technical. So yeah, really good course I think, but challenge, yeah.
It's still perfect conditions for the 2013 Hutt City Crazyman finishes on the Petone foreshore. A great end to a tough day.
It was a big day, yeah, tough day today. Yeah, I enjoyed it though, but it was the first time I've done this and perhaps a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be, so yeah, quite tough.
It's pretty hard work. I haven't done anything that long in a while after having this little one here. So it was pretty hard work, but I'm so pleased to have finished it and survived it. It's awesome.
Hard work. Hot and hilly and soggy, but awesome.
The pain's everywhere. It hurts where it shouldn't hurt. But it was fun. It was awesome. I enjoyed it.
And absolutely no sign of winter yet in Wellington. That was the 2013 Hutt City Crazyman. A great race in a great place.